Welcome to Gym Owner Freedom. I am Scott Carpenter, and I am a former broke, struggling, frustrated, and overworked gym owner that felt stuck no matter what I did to try and improve the business. Once I realized that the answer wasn't what I thought it was, just getting more clients, and after really doing the math on acquisition and churn rates, I realized I wasn't even playing a winnable game to begin with. With my current price structure, mathematically, there was no way I could afford to pay my staff so I could scale up and out of the business, that I can have the time, the money, the impact, and the freedom that I always knew I was capable of. Once I learned how to add value by selling transformational programs to people who needed more than just workouts, everything changed in my life. Today, I own 6 gyms that all run without me, and I am free to pursue my passion projects and work just because I love to, not because I have to. And if that's a goal that we mutually share together, then this is the show for you. I'm going to teach you the framework to make way more money with less clients and open up a world of possibilities to you. Subscribe, leave a review, and tune in every week. It'll change your life. I promise you that. This is an open discussion. Today we have an awesome guest on here. We have an awesome topic, and it's extremely relevant to bring this to you, the fitness business owner community. So we're going to talk about OZEMPIC. We're going to talk about OZEMPIC and OZEMPIC-like drugs, the GLP-1 drugs that is just rocking our industry and just taking by storm, and is having a lot of consequences. A lot of us have been struggling with leads lately. Maybe paid ads aren't firing and they're not as responsive. Maybe organic lead flow has dipped. But a lot of us have been feeling and experiencing this, whether it's over the last month or two, or over the last 6 or 8 months. But we have been seeing it in my studios and locations, definitely. And it prompted me to kind of explore a little bit about why this is going on. And as I was doing some research, I figured out this is all over like US News and World Report. It's everywhere. But 1 out of 8 American adults are on or have tried already OZEMPIC or a GLP-1 drug. 1 out of 8 adults, guys. That's 12.5%. And these things have not even been around for very long, which is absolutely, absolutely wild. So what I wanted to do is have an open discussion on this. I'll introduce the guest that we have on in just a second. But throw in the chat. Let me know whether you're on Facebook or on the personal Zoom room. Throw in the chat, throw a comment. On a level of 1 to 10, what is your level of understanding of GLP drugs and where we're at as an industry? Like, even, how it works, what it costs, how many people are on it, like how informed are you? Carl, you're an 8. That's pretty damn good, Carl. 7, 7, 8. Okay, so this is good. This is good. You guys are on it too. So a lot of you have been doing research, and I think your suspicions are correct. And like, hey, is this screwing with our business? And in a way it is, but there's a way that we can actually turn the tables on this and take something that is actually taking all the interest away from us in our gyms and putting on this magic drug. There's a way that we can turn the tables on this. So we're going to talk about this today. The special guest that I have on to help guide us through this conversation is Kai Hauser, MD. Any relation to Doogie? I never even thought to ask that until now. No relation to Doogie Hauser. So Kai has known Kai for over a year, I think. Kai, right? Probably
a little over a year.
A little over a year. So he is really a modern day hero. So he is, and no exaggeration on it. So he's a medical doctor. He's an MD, has been in family practice. But what he decided was that, like, hey, we know, healthcare is really all about sickness care, not wellness. And so he decided to make a major shift, which is really ballsy, right? Doctors make some great money, and he ended up buying it or starting. Did you buy or start a gym, Kai?
I started one.
Yeah, you started one a few years ago, and then we started working together. You kind of did our high ticket launch program, right, and you're in our scale mastermind. So he was able to actually, well, I'll let you tell the story. So Kai, you became a medical doctor, got into family practice when?
Oh, so I finished residency in 2013, and so started practicing full time, doing primary care, family medicine, and so did that for about 10 years, and just exited doing that. And back in May, I guess it just came up on a year ago that I exited primary care and went full time into the fitness and wellness business. And so I had started my practice or my gym about 7 years ago. So I was practicing, and I just really needed a solution for a lot of my patients, but I knew like if my patients needed it, that a lot of other, people and clients out in the community needed as well. So I started a boot camp based gym kind of on the side of my medical practice. And then within about a year, started a health coaching wellness weight loss program, which is now called Real Wellness MD. And for the past, I guess, 5 to 6 years, had the primary care practice that I was doing as an employed physician, and then have been growing these businesses. And then last year, I was really blessed to be able to exit the primary and put my full focus and passion into this business and in this industry.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Here's an example of a doctor who's just like, there's something broken in our industry. It's just cool. You got diabetes, all right. Here's a prescription. Here's a prescription. Okay, side effects come. Here's a prescription. What are we doing here? Right. So it's cool that he did something like start his own gym. And really the name of his practice now, Real Wellness MD, is real wellness. Like he's putting out there what he stands for and believes in. And it is about wellness, not about managing sickness, and doing it the right way. And that's why he's really awesome to have on here, because he's got the medical background, that side of it, and he understands these drugs with a little bit different opinion than we have as gym owners too. And personal trainers, gym owners, a lot of times we get introduced to a drug like this, like GLP-1, like all these kind of drugs, these weight loss drugs, and immediately our reaction is, oh, don't do that, right? And that, I'm not saying that's wrong at all. But a lot of times we're not your average person. We are somebody who we're fitness nerds. We've geeked out on it and saw the benefits of fitness in our lives for however many years. And we decide, hey, I want to help others do this. And when I want to help others do this the right way and learn how. So we get into it, we start helping people, but we kind of forget who those everyday people are sometimes, because we've been so involved in our own fitness. For us, working out 3, 4, 5 times a week, no big deal. It's like what you do, right? Yeah, we indulge in things with diet and everything, but when I first started, I got really into I learned from bodybuilders, right? And when I started advising clients on how to change their diets, a lot of it was just, oh yeah, chicken and brown rice and broccoli. Like anybody's actually going to do that. So we can't take a meathead perspective and put it on everybody else, because that's not who they are. That's not what they want. And so we have to really realize this and look at Ozempic and these other drugs from the angle of our customers, not our angle. Now, there's no right or wrong answers, guys. You can come in here and say, I don't believe in that one bit. I'm going to get out there loud and proud and say, F that stuff. Don't do that. It's going to wreck you. And you wouldn't be wrong. Okay. There's different opinions on this one. And you got to figure out where you stand. On the other end of the spectrum, we also have to understand, though, that people aren't the fitness nerd that you are, right? They haven't geeked out on this. They've got 3 kids, right? They've tried 12 different diets over the years. They struggle with everything. They can barely hang on and get the kids to soccer practice and get groceries and this and that, right? They're borderline diabetic, all this kind of stuff. So in some instances, these drugs can be a really good way for people to start, but they have, let's not ignore the fact that they have massive side effects. And at the end of the day, here's my stance on it. And you got to find your own. And if yours is like, I'll never recommend this, you don't have to recommend it, right? But I'm saying I'm never standing by this. I'm going to speak out against it. That's fine. I don't think you're wrong, but I don't think there is a right answer. You got to figure out where you stand. The way I see it, and I want you guys to start forming your opinions as you hear some of this dialogue today, how I stand on it is that, listen, is it the best way to go about it? No, it's changing your habits for a lifetime. That's the best way to do it. We all know that. But regardless, people are going to do this. They are going to do this. Now, we can either help them do it the right way to minimize those side effects and be able to keep these results for a lifetime, or we can be stubborn and say, well, good luck. And I think we can help be a part of the solution. And you got to figure out where you want it to be. And that's exactly what Kai is doing too, as a medical doctor who also has a gym, and he's bridging the gap between these two things. They have them really be the same. You're branding it together now, Kai. You're in the kind of process of merging these two things together. It's in the same building, right? Mm-hmm. But you're kind of taking the gym business and the medical business together with it. And so why don't you give people a little bit of an insight, Kai, into just how this drug works, and some of the side effects of it real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like the other day, I could talk on this for an hour, but I'll make it, short. Really, GLP-1, it's a naturally occurring, hormone, in the body, and it affects a lot of different, they call it like the quarterback because it affects a lot of different things. But the biggest things is that it works in the brain to basically suppress your appetite. So it's going to make you feel like you're not as hungry. One way it also does that is in the stomach or the gut. It slows down motility, so it's going to make the food stay in there longer and move slower, much like eating healthy foods does, right? When you eat things higher in protein, fats, and healthy fats and high in fiber, that happens as well. And so it really does what healthy eating and what a good gut health and nutrition does. But it supercharges that because you're giving that medicine as an agonist. One thing it does is it lasts longer than the naturally occurring GLP-1 in your body. Goes away pretty quickly because it's on demand, whereas this one hangs around a little bit longer. So I had mentioned before, it's kind of like, using a regular cup of coffee, versus like a, espresso. So it's going to be a stronger, in a lot of ways, a stronger version than what your body's actually producing. Especially people who are in this situation where they aren't producing enough GLP-1 because they're metabolically adapted or they're just not doing the right things. And this gets made naturally in the gut. So if your gut isn't healthy, it's not producing enough. And so this is a way to help bridge that gap that, hey, they're in this place where they're not making enough and letting their body, get more. So hopefully long term, like we talked about, their body can produce more because they get back into those healthy habits. But yeah, so it works in the stomach, it works in the brain, it also works in the pancreas, which is the main organ that produces insulin, right? So insulin's gonna lower your glucose levels by letting that glucose get into the cells. It also works in the liver by decreasing glucose production in the liver. So those are the four main mechanisms and the way it works. Hopefully that kind of helps. Let's see. I guess what other questions did you have, Scott, other from that?
Yeah, so that's kind of how it works. Now, the side effects that come out from that,
right?
I know nausea is a big one that affects. Yep. Was it like 40-something%?
Yeah, there's a whole list, but nausea is like 44%, and then all of the GI side effects like nausea, vomiting, constipation, even diarrhea, those are in the 20 to 30 to 40% side effect. So those are really common. So almost half of people that take this are going to have it. And then honestly, if you either started people on a high dose or you ramp up their dose, that's just going to get worse and worse based on dose effect. So GI is very common.
Yeah, I know somebody who's on that and he gets pretty nauseous, and yep. Even when he eats and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think, and he's just not even hungry at all. Yep. So I think, some of these people are eating like 600-700 calories. A lot of times it's just their body doesn't even tell them to eat, right? And so as a result of this, Patty, you just nailed it right there. A lot of muscle loss with it.
Yep.
And that's been a big side effect, is all the weight coming off. Obviously, it's not just fat mass, right? It's, I think bone mass is a concern potentially too, but definitely lean muscle tissue. Is that right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So that's, I guess like it is a side effect. It's almost like a side effect of what you want to happen, right? But we have to protect against it because we know it suppresses appetite, but we also know one of the problems or one of the challenges I was going to bring up, is that people just tend to eat very little and then we get a lot of muscle wasting because they're not focusing on, hey, even though it is suppressing my appetite, I still have to get enough protein. I might want to get extra amino acids. I do need to focus on good healthy fats and foods. They just say, well, I'm not hungry, so the less I eat, the more weight I'm going to lose, the more quickly it's going to happen. This is a good thing. So you can also say like one of the other side effects is low energy. Well, it's partially a medicine effect, but it's also like you're not getting enough energy in your body through food. So a lot of people feel really tired. They can have like depression, mood changes, lower energy. That's a big one that we see as well. Another concern is not a side effect, it's more of a contraindication or a concern would be thyroid cancer. So we don't really know what that looks like. We do know in like rat studies that they have linked use of GLP-1 medications to increased risk of thyroid cancer. We don't know in humans completely yet what that looks like, but we do know there is actually a contraindication to family history of significant thyroid cancer or some specific thyroid cancers that you should not use this at all. But we don't know. Who knows? We haven't ever had somebody on this for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years to do a study to say that they might get, man, thyroid cancer is way higher in people that have used this for multiple years. So that's a big concern too.
Yeah.
Again, you never know. And every drug like this, you don't know until you know and do the studies retroactively. But that's definitely something we know could be a concern.
Yeah, there's a lot that we just don't know. And I love all the chats and the comments coming in. Pat, you're talking about nutrient deficiencies. Eric, you mentioned something good above, like, can the results be sustained for life based on what you said, right? And
Right.
Carl, just substituting one coping mechanism, food for another, drugs. And so this is great. We're all coming in with different opinions on this thing. Is this good? Is it bad? Does it have use somewhere? Does it not? Some of us are coming in completely one-sided. Some of us are a little open. Some of us, it's all over the place. And like I said, there are no wrong answers. We're just here to discuss it. And I want you guys to form your opinions, your own opinions on everything by listening to us and each other in here, which is great. So, but yeah, the side effects are like Kai had mentioned. Some of them we know short term definitely are there. Some of them we don't know. The long term ones, this just haven't been around for long enough. And at the end of the day, if you're only eating a few hundred calories a day, yeah, loss of energy. This is where the muscle wasting can come in. But also, if you guys are keeping your eyes open, if 1 out of 8 American adults are on it right now, okay, they're going to do it regardless. The side effects of muscle wasting and nutrient deficiencies, we can actually help with that, right? They're going to do this regardless of what you say. Now, you can take the stance of like, I don't think anybody should ever do this and blah, blah, blah. And I won't work with anybody who does it. Or you could also take another stance of like, hey, this is not what I would recommend. There's a lot of serious side effects. There's a lot we don't know about this. I don't think it's the smartest way to start, but I recognize that a lot of you are going to do this. And if you're going to do it, you need to do this the smart way. You need to minimize these side effects and to move forward so you can create a long-term sustainable solution, not just lose a bunch of weight, crush your muscle mass, your metabolism in the short term, and be stuck in this horrible cycle. Right? So you guys got to find your own opinions on this. But Kai, like you had mentioned, there are some really good applications for this too. Can you kind of elaborate on that one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have a problem in America. I talked about that. There's a growing obesity rate, there's a growing diabetes rate. I mean, essentially 30, 40 years ago, those were non-existent, and now they're completely rampant. And so, yeah, I mean, just taking this medicine. So I was prescribing GLP-1, years ago as Ozempic to diabetics, right? And so that was for purely just for diabetes. So y'all are aware, hemoglobin A1C is one of the markers for diabetic control. And I saw it across the board. I mean, I would start somebody on this medication and their A1C would go from something horrible like 9 or 10 down to something reasonable like 6 or 7. Some people even close to the 5, which is essentially normal. So it definitely does work, at least in the short term. There's no doubt it helps you lose weight. It lowers your glucose, your average glucose level, which is, good for your body. That's going to save your organs, your brain, your eyes, your kidneys, all those things. It can slow the progression of diabetes theoretically because it's taking pressure off the pancreas and having to make all this insulin, right? So there's definitely a huge indication, at least, for those two things, which is sort of what we're talking about. It's all metabolic disease, right? We're talking about, metabolic syndrome. So it definitely has a good short-term effect of that. I think what one of the downsides is like how if you stay on it, yes, it probably is going to help. But then as you stay on it and you lose muscle or you get off, what's going to happen to that glucose control? What's going to happen to your weight? Are they just going to spring back up and get out of control? Definitely. A lot of diabetics that I started on it, and this is how this medicine really got into the weight loss world. It's not even actually FDA approved technically for weight loss. It's for, diabetics, but it's being used off label for weight loss. That's really how they came up with this, is we were putting diabetics on it and we saw, yes, number one, their A1C goes down, but we're like, man, and they're just like losing all this weight, like they're dropping weight like crazy. And so that's really how a lot of this started. Like a lot of medicines, you give it and then something else happens and then you're like, oh, we can use this for that too. So that's really common. But anyway, that's a story, with GLP-1s. So I
Yeah,
think
so
the
it
other
actually
thing,
started out to make these other metabolic changes. They
yeah,
saw that, yeah, people are just dropping weight like crazy.
right.
And then, right, then it's like,
Yep,
okay, ding, ding, ding. We've got a
yep,
recipe. There's a weight loss drug that we have
right,
unintentionally.
yep.
And then it's like, then it's kind of a race where once that's, can we market this to people who just want to lose weight?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is 1000%, right?
Right,
And then you started seeing a lot of the changes, which you kind of gave our internal scale group. You kind of
right,
gave us the rundown of what's going on behind the scenes in the industry. And basically, Ozempic is the brand name, but then compounding pharmacies create like generic versions,
mhm,
which can be done a lot cheaper.
right,
Right. And then as news is leaking about all this kind of stuff and more people on it, it's not just diabetics, right? It becomes anybody who wants to lose weight the easy way. And
yep,
so everybody jumps on board, right? And now you're getting providers who will just literally just get on. It's kind of like cannabis when it first started for medical reasons, right? Then you get like a doctor, oh, you got some pain? Yeah. Does it hurt? All right. And they'll write you the magic ticket. Now you can go down to the dispensary and get legal weed,
yep.
right? So that's kind of, I mean, that might not be the best analogy, but is that kind of what you've seen in this in the market now?
Yeah, it's really in the medical world, doctors don't really get reimbursed for weight. They have a patient, they're trying to help them. So a lot of doctors in the insurance world, they're not really profiting off of this. They work on consultation. You come see them, you pay them a copay, they bill the insurance. But in the private world, where we really saw it and they're seeing it boom is med spas, which I'm in that world too, so I get that, and we're doing it through that. Weight loss clinics that were doing other, just other weight loss before that were doing drugs or things like that, injections. Now they jumped on this. Um, go Google, like Google GLP or Ozempic weight loss, and then watch your Facebook scroll, like go through Instagram and Facebook, see how many ads you get for all these online companies. Now we're seeing, 129 a month for weight loss shots. And it's really, we talked about becoming commoditized because it's a pretty low barrier of entry. As long as you have a medical supervisor or somebody that will let you prescribe it, you can give these medicines to people, because really that weight loss and med spa industry is fairly unregulated right now. I mean, there are regulations, but it's not very, you don't hear a lot about it unless somebody has a bad outcome or something. So yeah, and that's what we were talking about the other day. Like even we saw news of chains like Costco and big warehouse chain companies wanting to offer this, because they can sell the medications. So it really has become commoditized, and most of not all, but some of them I know are providing good care, good follow-up care, good recommendations. You actually do get to talk to a dietitian or a health coach or somebody that is advocating for all the healthy habits you need to do while you're taking the medication. But there's also a large portion that is really just giving you the medicine and saying good luck, or I'll see you in a month, or I'll see you in 3 months. And they aren't doing things like checking muscle mass or using any, in-body scans or any type of biometric screening for muscle mass and for fat loss, percentages, and actually seeing, are we losing things the right way? And so, yeah, that's really the state from what I know. And, we've talked about of the industry is there are people doing it the right way. There's also a lot of places that are probably not doing it in a way that's going to help the client or patient long term.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's capitalism, right? So, you can, things have their places, and then it's like easy money. So the market floods that.
Yeah.
And costs go way down. And that's what we're seeing. Like when you can go into Costco and you get connected with a telehealth provider and they can just, bam, there you go. Well, it's turn and burn now. Now they're on their own. They're probably going to be doing it the wrong way. They're probably going to be losing a ton of muscle mass and shooting themselves in the foot long term.
Right.
And this is where I'm of the opinion that we in the fitness space, in the gym space, we need to step in here, and we need to start voicing what's going on out there. And again, it doesn't need to be like, oh, this is bad, shame, shame, shame. You're probably just going to drive people away. But we need to step in and be like, hey, are you taking the skinny shot? Right? Are you taking the skinny shot? You need to do this the right way. It's easy to lose it. It's just like gastric bypass, the lap band surgery. This was all the rage, guys, right? And everybody's jumping in and doing this. It's the easy way out. And then is it like 50% of it just doesn't even work out in the long term, Kai, with those?
Oh, with gastric
success rate?
bypass? I don't know the percentage, but I'll say in my practice and in my weight loss clinic, tons of people who had it, they lost 40, 50 pounds or even 100 pounds. They're 2 to 3 years out. They stretch their stomach back out. They figured out a way, human nature, to still get the food in, and didn't change their habit, didn't fix the mental reason, the root cause that they were doing it. Yep. And then they're back in clinic or in my practice trying to lose weight again. So it's high. It's right.
It's high. Yeah. And that's they're literally like shrinking their stomach, stapling them shut, or whatever they do on it, right? Using whatever kind of shit. I don't know what you use in there. But like the fact of the matter is you take your stomach and do this with it. And the fact that you can actually reverse that with shitty decisions and habits is unreal. Rick, you threw in a comment up there. They also tend to eat the same trash instead of making better choices. 100%. Like if we don't get inside and help them change their mindset about fitness and nutrition and a lifestyle, these guys are hosed. They're screwed. And like it or not, these people are going to be doing this. And I'm of the opinion that we are the leaders in this field, and we need to get out in front and start talking about these issues to our clients, to our 5 to 10 mile radiuses around us. I want you guys to be the ones leading this conversation and not being overly critical, right? But at the end of the day, this drug was designed for diabetics who really needed this, who are really, really struggling out there. People are taking it as an easy weight loss. I get it. I understand. Right. And hey, it's not my preferred method, but if you're going to do this, there's some very serious side effects, and I want to help you do this the right way. So that, yeah, all right, it's a little bit of a rocket fuel for a period of time, but unless it's something you want to be on forever, which can have disastrous consequences, some of which we don't even know about, you've got to be able to keep these results forever. The hard part is not losing weight. You can go in and get lap band surgery, right? The hard part is keeping the weight off forever. Yeah. You know, and that's where we need to lead this conversation. And you should be the authority in your community talking about this on your content. You shouldn't, and it's my opinion, you shouldn't be overly critical about this, right? Because hey, I'm there. Remember, these people are different than you are. You're a fitness nerd so much to the point where you actually do this for a living, right? That's not the majority of people. So I would love to help them where they're at and lead this. And I think you all should do something like that. But hey, if you're of the opinion nobody should be doing this, and it's the worst shit ever, you can't go wrong by getting out and blasting that out and being true to who you are too. I'm not here to tell you the stance on it. I tend to be more of a libertarian than anything when it comes to stuff. So at the end of the day, I think we should be helping support these people. And I see this as a big marketing opportunity to get out there. And if 1 out of 8, if you ran an ad, and I'm going to be testing this, but if 1 out of 8 adults are on this thing, I'm just going to call them out on an ad. And I don't know if it'll do well or it won't do well. I don't have to spend much money to figure it out, but I'm going to run an ad asking, you know, for those that are on the skinny shot. And I'm going to talk about the managing those side effects so you keep this weight off, that you need to be doing these things. And here's an offer for you. And we're here to do that. We're here to make it easy for you. We're not here to shame you or embarrass you. We're here to help you get this, like, keep this weight off forever.
Hey, just a quick reminder to everybody, if you are ready to start making an extra $10,000 more this month, every month, by making more money with less clients with transformational programs and create a consistent flow of high-quality leads, you can learn more about what it's like to work with me and my team at PT Legends and how ridiculously affordable it is at CoachScottCarpenter.com. It is such a no-brainer that it more than pays for itself when we teach you how to enroll just two case study clients. Really, that's it. So go to CoachScottCarpenter.com and learn more about it.
So I'm going to be testing something like that. And in addition, Kai is one of the good guys, obviously. He's a medical doctor who's like, man, this industry is really flawed, right? We're just putting Band-Aids on people instead of helping them do it the right way. And it's awesome that we got to meet over a year ago because you kind of bolted on our high ticket launch program inside of your gym, which is all about really helping change people's lifestyles, right? And yeah, charging a lot of money for it. Your front end offer is, what did you have your front end offer at, Kai?
I mean, we started at like 2,500. You talking about the big package, like our transformation package? Yeah, we started at like 2,500. We've been as high as $4,000 for a 9-week package.
Yeah, 9-week program. It's the workouts inside your gym, but then also the transformation program that we developed. You put your own spin on it. And you said it was a 9-week one for you, right?
Yeah, we did a 9-week.
Yep. 9-week involves working out 3 times a week and then working with a mentor and hand in hand to help you change your habits, change your eating habits, change your mindset habits, all those kind of things. And Desiree's not on this call. I haven't seen her yet, but Desiree's your right-hand woman, right? And she just crushed it with sales. She went through our program. I think she sold, I don't know what her record is for like a month or something like that, but it's pretty damn high. And that's where you guys started doing a lot more of the lifestyle change and everything. So it integrates perfectly with this. But yeah, we've got to help people change their habits. Exactly like Rick said. That's it.
And that's something we've seen. Like, honestly, we've struggled more with these high ticket packages as we've seen these medications rise, just to be really frank. So yeah, I think like what you're saying is, you know, you either have to offer it or you need to be part of the solution. You could either be like, hey, if you're going to take it, come see me, you know, at the same time, because you're typically your provider or doctor, whoever's not going to provide that part, or, you know, frankly, be against it. I think you have to pick your position, but there's no doubt it's affecting specifically high ticket in a big way, and also just gyms. But Yeah, just to throw that in there, we felt it as well. And so I'm going to prescribe it, or I have been. I have a program where we give them the medication and we give them the transformation and combining that, but that's probably not most gym owners, in their wheelhouse unless you're going to partner with, a provider or somebody who would do that with you.
Yep. And that's a really good thing to bring up, Kai, is that you could partner with a provider to either offer it through somebody else, right? And you could even run ads to it. Kai, you're running ads. We'll talk about that in a second, what you're leading with. You're running ads to that. Or it's the other way around. You can find these med spa. They're everywhere, right? Med spas, concierge doctors, whoever's kind of doing this. And the good ones understand, they actually care about their patients. The good doctors care about their patients. They know the side effects. You don't have to educate them on it. But if you can go in there, and Carl, in your area, right? Like, you're a personality. You're the celebrity in your area, which is awesome, right? And working on that, like going in, introducing yourself and talking about it, they're aware of these side effects. And you can talk about who you are, what you can do to help out their patients, and work out a deal where, they can refer people to you. Every single patient that they get on this medicine, they're going to let them know about the side effects and what you need to do to counteract that. And there's basically two things, guys: strength training, right, to prevent muscle wasting.
Mm-hmm.
And because they eat so little to preserve that muscle too, is it really needs to be very protein heavy, because they're not very hungry. Like Rick said, they're just going to want to eat shit food. You know what I mean? They're not very hungry. Why not just have a bag of Cheetos, right? And so the protein needs to be there, and the strength training really needs to be there to prevent that muscle wasting. So it's really easy to manage it. But how many of those patients are just going to walk in and walk out with that shot and do nothing? Virtually all of them. And the doctors know this. So if you go in there and talk about it, right, to them, and if they can recommend everybody go to you, you have some offer for them, blah, 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 it could be a really good opportunity for you to really pick up people. It really can. Because 1 in 8 are doing this, guys. 1 in 8. That's absurd. This is your way to get ahead of it. You could partner with somebody to provide it in your gym and run ads to it, and that would probably be pretty easy to pick people up, right? Some of you are like, nope, I don't really believe in it like that. I don't want to do it. That's great. That's fine. But go to the people who are doing this and help them do it right. Big marketing opportunity out there for that. And you can market to them directly too. But I would really get your ass out in the community and start forging these relationships with these people. Absolutely. And even, I mean, when you're there talking to the doctor, you're talking to the med spa owner, you're talking to the manager, have them come in and get a workout with you so they can experience it, so they can see it's welcoming. It's not a meathead place where they're going to judge you. People need to feel comfortable. Okay. So try to get these managers, these owners to come in and get a workout. Give them a free week. Give them a couple free workouts. Let them see what you're about. Right. But if you get out there and just forge some of these relationships, I guarantee you it's going to be a pipeline for some steady leads for you. And Kai, you're experimenting right now. Obviously, you can do both. You have both ends of the spectrum. And if you're in Texas, you can actually just reach out to Kai, and I'm sure he can do telemedicine if somebody was interested in it too. Because if one of my clients, I think, Carl, you had mentioned you had somebody who's doing a couple low doses, right? Hey, if somebody's talking to you about this, a client, I'd rather have them do this with somebody I know and trust to oversee this whole thing, like Kai, rather than somebody, a med spa who might just be turn and burn. Maybe I'm not saying that's the case for everybody out there, but at the end of the day, it's being commoditized, and a lot of it gets turn and burn, right? Let's get as many people flying through here as possible without checking your lean muscle tissue, without doing things the right way, right? And keep in mind, too, guys, people are dropping cash in this. Diana says, I had a client tell me last week she spent $1,700 for a month of skinny drops. Yeah, people are spending money on this. So don't think that you can't be a part of the solution and sell what you need to sell inside of it. Absolutely. Ricky mentioned the same thing, $1,200. Yeah, some of it's a lot. Diana asks, what do you recommend we offer them for referrals? Well, I mean, it really depends on who you're in front of. So a lot of these people are going to want to do it just to do it because they know it's the right thing for their clients. And they'll do it, you know, and I guess this is a better question for Kai. Let's say you're running a med spa or you're running a private practice. You know, is the money important at all, like a kickback, or is that even legal in some cases? What would be the best way to approach a med spa owner versus a doctor on something like this?
Right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that, of course, depends on your state. There's federal stuff on that, but there's state too. So, you know, don't want to speak on that too much. But you probably do have to be careful. Like if you went to the doctor and like, hey, you know, you can work out for free here, you know, like you need to check with your employer, you know, kind of look into that in your state. Like, what does that look like? I know doctor to doctor, you have to be really careful with that. I don't know gym owner to doctor, that might be more loose, because it's not medical to medical, but I don't know. For most doctors, I don't think that's a huge thing financially, unless you're giving them like a big transformation package. It's probably not going to kill their budget. I would personally go after the ones who genuinely want to do it because it's the right thing for their client, for their patients. But I do think it's important, Scott hit on a little bit, to show them, you know, like what I would offer them is like, hey, I just want to show you what we do. I want you to, because it's something, if you tell somebody, great, that if you show them, let them do it, let them experience it, or, you know, even give them some type of, you know, charter rate and let them lose weight. Like, think about how many doctors there are that are overweight, that if they lost 20 pounds on your program, then now they're your advocate, man. They'll just flood you with people.
Yeah.
So I would go more towards like, how can you get them in your facility, or maybe their wife or their husband or a family, you know, somebody to experience it. So you get them having that, basically walking billboard for you, you know, or maybe if they send a few, maybe you could offer a few of their clients, like maybe your first 5 patients, I'll do, you know, 3 months free or a month free. And then say, hey, like but really what I want is that when I get them results, you know, I would love for you to send me more people, or, you know, be able to do some testimonials off of that. So maybe that's another way, is like either them or their patients or clients or somebody, using that sort of as a hook.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of it is I don't think the financial aspect is that rewarding to them. The ones who are just passionate about helping people and they see the bigger picture, they're going to want to do this regardless. And we've had a lot of success. Like Julie Puzzo has been through our high ticket launch program. And this is hand in glove with what we teach, guys. We teach each and every one of you how to bolt on a transformational program into your specific business model to help these people with their nutrition, help them with their habits. So it's something that they can do forever, right? And we teach you how to charge a really good rate to do that. That's how Kai and I met, right? They bolted onto their gym. Awesome benefit. There's been several of you on this call that we have done this with. So it goes hand in glove with the story. And Julie Puzzo was online only client that we worked with. She had her fitness, mainly nutrition business that was totally online. But because we teach you how to sell that really, really well and get very confident in your offer, get very certain that you can change somebody's life, she was just at a doctor's appointment for a checkup, talked to her doctor about what she does. Her doctor was so excited about it that I believe it was in the next 4 to 6 weeks, she booked like 16 appointments from it and sold at least 80% of them. And hers was a virtual program. I think it was $3,000 for a 9 or a 12-week online only program. And she signed up a boatload from one doctor who resonated with that message. That's it. So I think it's more about who is doing this. And hey, they know the side effects. You don't need to sell them on it. It's just like, hey, I want to help you bridge this gap so these people can sustain this, right? And not plateau, have negative side effects, all that kind of stuff, and be in a worse position when they started. And I think you take that approach, and that the right doctor, the right person doing that will be all about that and would be happy to do it. But like Kai said, get them to come and experience it. because they don't know.
Scott. I kind of forgot, but so now doctors get reimbursed by the number of people they see. They also get reimbursement rates off of quality of the care. But one of the markers, there are some markers out there, like for example, hemoglobin A1C. So the percentage of your diabetic patients who are controlled or have an A1C under 9 is one of the markers. And so they get, if they do well in that, they get bonuses. And if they negotiate different insurance rates for quality. I have some issues with how that's done, but anyway, it is what it is. So one angle you could use with physicians is, hey, I can help you get better quality results or better quality metrics on your patients. And then by doing my program, you're going to have a healthier population compared to other doctors. And then you're going to get reimbursed more because that's coming and continuing to come is going to be quality-based care. So that's another one you could say, hey, like, I know you want to have good results. And I know you have measures like diabetic control, all these things like, let's see if you send some people to me, we can improve those and then you're going to get reimbursed more. So, which is a win-win. That's what the doctor makes more money, the client's healthier, the patient's healthier, and the gym owner is part of that solution. So that's a cool one I just kind of thought about.
Interesting. I did not know that. This is the first time I've heard of a performance-based,
yep,
like for wellness-based kind of incentive, right? Mm-hmm. Normally it's incentive for prescribing drugs is how we've heard in the past, right? And all that kind of stuff.
And that actually that's sort of a misnomer, at least in my experience, that doesn't exist.
It used to exist, right? And then they started clamping down on that with...
I think with that was drug companies basically giving physicians like trips or lunches for their staff. Like that was outside of, you were reimbursed externally for prescribing the medications.
Yeah.
Not really from the insurance company or from the patient directly. So that doesn't happen, but directly from the patient and insurance company, how much you get paid now are these quality metrics. So
that's interesting. And that's really good to know that, because I did not know that going into it. I think that's phenomenal. I think it's about time there was something. And is this coming from like the insurance company reimburses or does it come from the business to the doctor?
So both. It's complicated because the insurance companies ultimately are the ones who the businesses, the healthcare companies have to negotiate with on reimbursement rates. So the healthcare company wants their quality of the system and their providers to be good. So the healthcare companies typically, then they work with their providers to have those so that they can feed that up and show that to the insurance company and then go back and get better reimbursement. So it's both. When I was doing it directly, we would be working with the administrators in our healthcare system to have better metrics because they were telling us that helps the system and that helps them get better rates, which means they can pay us more and all the things. So it's a very complicated thing.
Yeah, of course it's going to be
earlier in the chat, but yeah, super and I talked about that because government's involved because ultimately when you do this kind of thing, there's control, right? It's like, here's your carrot, but you have to do it this way. So the pharmaceutical companies are involved in this. The insurance companies are involved in this. The government is involved in this. But the positive I think we can take from it is that's the reality of what doctors are dealing with. And so if we can, again, we may not agree with how it's being done, but if we can use it as, hey, this is part of what you deal with, let me help your patient panel be healthier so that you can get paid more or your system can get paid more. Right.
Awesome. I love that. Now we can speak according to their financial incentives too, which is kind of nice. Yeah. And that's what I was saying. Hey, I'm not sure how much is legal for like kickbacks because again, the medical industry is really kind of shut down on those because of all the abuse between pharmaceutical companies and the doctors years ago. So, listen, federal stuff, state by state, So anything medical wise, it's really hard to do a blanket thing because 50 states, 50 different approaches to things too. And let's talk offers for a minute, guys. So as you guys know, we're really big on your prices and offers for your gym are all important. If your price too low, if your offers don't match, it's really hard to be profitable. And we teach you how to make gyms, get 30 to 50% profit margins inside of your gym, which is so incredibly important. I can't even tell you. And, one thing that can really connect, and before I know, because some people are going to have to hop off in 10, 12 minutes, probably. Craig, can you drop that link below? Kind of how we started with Kai is we did kind of looked at his offers, prices and offers. And based on his current model, this is a year ago, right? And based on his current price, his current model, how he fulfills things, what should his prices and offers be? And we kind of started that. We built out, his high and mid and low ticket offers. And a lot of you guys really need to do that. We're not going to be able to get nitty gritty in this with yours. So Craig, if you can drop that link inside the chat here and also in Facebook in the comment, I think Will had sent it over to you earlier. I'm going to give you guys a link where you can do an offer audit. So we can hop on with you for 15 minutes. Tell us what your prices are, what your offers are, what your business model is. And what we can do is show you how you can bolt on like a high ticket offer, a mid ticket, and a low ticket offer. And reason I want to get that out now is because I want to discuss like one thing that you can do. Let's say you start getting out there and you start talking about this on your personal social media, your business's social media. You should be the voice in your community. If you're not doing this stuff now and putting out regular content, if you're not the voice in your community, you really, thank you, Craig. It's right there for you guys. So click on that, bookmark it, or just fill out your information. But we want you to be the voice. We want you to be the celebrity in your 5-mile radius. And this is going to help out with your organic lead flow. This is going to help out with your paid lead flow. We will help you figure out what the prices and offers are going to be. One thing that I'm going to be doing as we're the voice in the community talking about this and doing it the right way versus doing it the wrong way, which is actually going to set you back further long term. When you crush your muscle, you tank your metabolism, then you get reliant on this, is we are going to talk about how we have a program designed specifically for this. So that's it. And really, it's this, we don't have to change anything on the fulfillment. It's pretty much the same thing, except nutrition becomes easier. If you're kind of nauseous, if you're not eating much, if you're only eating 600, 1,000 calories a day because you can't stomach anymore, well, it's pretty easy. We're just going to make protein very easy for you to eat. And some of them might be a little bit too nauseous to like choke down chicken or this or that. Like at the end of the day, let's go with some meats that you like, probably a little bit more fatty than anything, just because it's more calorie dense. Or if they just hate doing that, they don't have the stomach for it, they're too nauseous, I'm probably just, hey, let's go to Costco, get some Premier Protein shakes or the Fairlife shakes, which are badass. If you guys haven't tried those are amazing. Like, let's make it easy for them to get in protein to prevent the muscle wasting. And then when it comes to the workouts, guys, 2-3 times a week strength training. Boom. That's it. And so I don't really have to change anything on the way we fulfill it inside of our gyms. All we're going to do is talk about how we have a skinny shot or GLP-1 support program. We'll come up with a cool name around it. But, you're getting out there talking to people who are on this thing, 1 out of 8 so far and counting. Okay. More are going to be on it. So I'm going to speak and I'm going to let them know we have a support program for that. And it's a specific program. And again, just when you take a solution and now you're customizing it for a very specific person, the interest goes way up. Their willingness to spend money on it goes way up. If they've got an opportunity to work with you or the person across the street from you, and you have a GLP support program, and they're on GLP, which one are they going to go to? They're going to you, because you're offering that very specific solution for what they're looking for. So when it comes to prices and offers, you should have a standalone program. Now, the fulfillment on it could be the exact same, or again, just easier, probably. There's a lot less to talk about with nutrition. All we got to make sure is your protein goal gets hit. That's it. Other than that, have fun or start changing things over time. But bottom line is, if you help them hit their protein goal, that's really the most of it. I mean, to be honest with you, even when they get off GLP-1, right? That's the vast majority of it. But yeah, it's hydration. Yeah, Rick, hydration is also an issue. Absolutely. So it's very easy for you to just create, an Ozempic support program, right? But when you talk about it, you have a specific solution. Cool. You're the credible expert now. Go be that credible expert. Kai, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. 100%. I'll add on to that too, because if we're talking about, hey, I'll support you through it, and also you probably don't want to be paying for this or be on this forever for all the reasons we talked about. It's basically the things we teach them, like the people that have healthy GLP-1 are the people that are doing these healthy habits. So we talk to people about absorption. So having good digestion and hydration, you have to have that. These are all things that improve your GLP-1 natural production in your body. Protein to carb ratio. So get a lot more protein because most people eat way too many carbs and not enough protein. Getting the right essential fatty acids. So being sure we're integrating those into their diets. Probiotics and prebiotics. So eating fiber and things that feed the good bacteria. And then also, maybe taking probiotics to help with that as well. Total nutrition, getting enough nutrients, vitamin D, minerals, electrolytes, caloric timing, like when you're eating and, not eating right before bed, getting enough sleep, stress management, activity. It's all the stuff we already do. Those are the things that promote healthy GLP-1 levels. So it's literally, you don't have to change anything compared to what you're already doing. You just have to show them, like, the reason you're in this situation is because you weren't doing these things. We're going to use the medication to help you get out of this situation, and then we're going to get you doing those things so you can get off the medicine and then not be in that situation anymore. So, I mean, it works beautifully. It's literally all the things that we should be teaching our clients anyways.
Yep. Guys, they're coming in from all over the place, and at the end of the day, you can be super judgmental. And again, stick to your guns. I'm not here to tell you what to think, but you can be very judgmental, right? And get out and completely speak against this. Or you can say, hey, if you're going to do this, you need to do this the right way. And it should be more of a short-term thing than a long-term thing. If you don't take these steps, it's going to be a long-term thing, and it's probably going to end up in a disaster for you. Right. And I want to take you by the hand, and I want to help you do this the right way so you can get your body producing GLP-1 instead of having to buy it every single month. Right. So, and Craig, I know that Diana, you said that link wasn't working for you. I think Craig sent another one. Craig, if you can make sure that gets in the Facebook one for those that are watching through Gym Owner Freedom, that would be great too. And then, take a note of Diana's last name too, so you can shoot her a message just in case, whatever reason, there's a tech issue on it. But guys, hit us up for the offer audit. You got it, Diana. Awesome. Do it. It's a 15-minute call, right? It's free to you guys. We're just going to do an offer audit. Tell us about your business, where it's at. A good offer or two, a high ticket offer and a mid ticket offer, in addition to what you already do, which is the workouts, can completely change your business. And, Kai and Des just crushed it when they did this a year ago. And we're revisiting some of your offers now, because not in the gym space.
Yep.
But now that everybody's coming in, they want the quick fix. They want the skinny shot. Now what we're looking at, what are as high, mid, and low ticket offers for that? And this is where Kai's one of the good guys. He doesn't really feel comfortable just doing the shot only, because it's a recipe for failure. So we're playing around with his offers right now. And a lot of people do just want the quick fix, but they're also not ready to go all in and change their lifestyle and work out 2 to 3 times a week and do all this other work. So we got to kind of figure out where we're going to meet them, where Kai can get them the support that they need the right way, but also with where they're at and what they're ready for in their lives. Not everybody can just jump in, change 5 habits in their life right now, start working out 3 times a week, and do this homework, and do this, and do this, and do this. So we're kind of dialing it in right now. What are you kind of like? We're going to have a high ticket program for the people who are ready to go all in, right? And what were you thinking about pricing that one, Kai?
For the high ticket, we've been selling that for 5K, but that comes with the medicine and everything, so that would be a
Yeah.
little different. And we've sold a few of those. I was telling you the issue we run into is are they really ready when we go in and explain all what it takes? They either don't want to buy or they buy and then like a weekend or a month in, they're like, I wasn't ready for all that. But yeah, that's our high ticket. The mid ticket, we were talking around, 2,500, somewhere, 2 to 3,000 range where they get basic habits, the things I just mentioned, protein, water, sleep, stress, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They learn those slowly while they're taking the medication. So that's the big thing I'm going to try, kind of moving forward. And then real quick, I know some of y'all have to get off. I'll just put in a huge, just be a huge advocate for PT Legends and Scott and everything they do. So like, yeah, I would definitely take them up on this call, check it out, let them audit and talk about it. You couldn't pick a better program or better group to talk to. So definitely worth your time. Just want to throw that in there.
I appreciate that, Kai. You don't have to lie to everybody on the call. I appreciate that a lot, Kai. But it's been awesome. Like Kai and Des came out for our in-person meetup in Scottsdale in February, and it was awesome. We stayed up so late. We drank way too much tequila. Probably inhaled too much of cigars, but we had a blast. And God, it's awesome getting off of your island and working with other just amazing entrepreneurs doing some big stuff and all of us getting pulled forward. And again, I'm bullish. Like if you're in Texas, I would reach out to Kai about potentially having him do some stuff over telehealth. I know it gets sticky state to state. Some states may have reciprocity, some may not. I'm that's something I want to work on with Kai is like, hey, can we open up where you get licensed to do this in different states? Because again, I would rather, for those of us who have clients who want to do this, I would rather you send them to somebody who knows this and can talk about it the right way, right? So if you have any questions, reach out to Kai too. You can find him on Facebook. He's inside the Gym Owner Freedom Group. He's not going to be hard to find, and I'm sure he'd welcome getting some messages from you. Diana asked, how long is the 5K for, and it includes meds? I think that was 12 weeks. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, it's 3 months.
Yeah.
So the meds.
Yep. And so what we were chatting about, because Kai's in our scale mastermind, which is our upper level guys, right? They're doing, they've got really good revenue already. We have a grow mastermind, which is like, a lot of the gyms up till, 30, 40K a month in revenue, quite a bit. And it's not necessarily about revenue. It's about profit is the important thing. I don't care if your gym's doing 20. If you're bringing home 12K, great, right? But I need the profit there. Kai is a gym owner, and he's also a medical doctor. So he's got his medical weight loss and med spa business now inside of the same facility. So he can prescribe it. Absolutely. Lost my train of thought where I was at though. But bottom line is we're working on, he's in our scale mastermind, which is an amazing group of gym owners that are doing big things. And sometimes it's multiple locations. Sometimes it's additional businesses growing on an online coaching business as well. But we had a great discussion in there yesterday, and we're helping him build out his new offers with OZEMPIC, right? With the shots, with the meds,
right? And
finding out where he's at, right? His high ticket is going to be like the gym's high ticket plus the meds, right? On the low end of that side of the business could just be the shots, right? But he doesn't feel that comfortable and confident with that because that's kind of why he got out of the medical industry. And so we're trying to find that sweet spot on his mid-ticket offer, which is, the high ticket can be way more than people are capable of handling right now. It's like, oh, I'm going to work out how many times a week, plus do this, plus do this. It's too much. You have to meet them where they're at. Right. And sometimes you got less is more to begin with, and then you can build on that. So the sweet mid ticket, we can price anchor with his high ticket at that 5K program. We'll have an awesome mid ticket, which will have the meds and include a lighter version of everything else. That's going to be a lot easier for them to do and get into. Right. But
and then we're looking at like a lower ticket, like a cohort group, basically Des is already selling, I got her on it. Of course, she's already sold 4 of them. but like a $9.99 6-week program, basic habit cohort. And so that can, yeah, so this is all kind of changing everything, because now like this new market, we're trying to figure it out. But yeah, it's really important getting those offers right. So that's where this would be super valuable to talk to them. And it even changes, like we've seen it change over the last 6 months. What was working before isn't working anymore. And so it's huge, because you have to roll with how the market is changing.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the benefit with our group. The cool thing is we get to share all this. We get to test it all. We get to share it all. Those of you who have been tuning in to live trainings and all the stuff we do, and you guys know that we innovate constantly. I don't necessarily want to be the guy with all the answers, right? It's only me and my 6 gyms, and we can only move so fast. But the cool is that we have this huge, awesome group, and we all get to share inside of it what ads work, what are not working anymore, what offers are hitting, this, that, the other. It is rapidly changing. You guys see it. So we get to innovate fast and get up to date on all this stuff. And that's one of the coolest things. So, yeah, I mean, I know we're coming up on past an hour, so people are having to get to other appointments, but shoot, like Kai, I really appreciate your time in coming in and doing this. It's amazing. Those of you still on, you can stay after. I'm going to be staying after for 20, 30 minutes, and I can do some coaching for you with where you're at. If you're having any issues, you want to talk about anything, make sure to take advantage of that call, that price and offer audit call. And we can make our recommendations on there. If you want to learn more about one of our mastermind programs or our express program, or 12-week like launch, our high ticket launch program, we can talk about that too. Not on that call. There's not enough time. We'd have to book a separate one, but do that price and offer call. It's not a sales call at all. If you want to learn more about other stuff, again, we won't even talk to you about it there. We have to set up a separate time. So definitely take advantage of that. If you're watching this on the replay, go to either the Facebook group, and to get that link, it's going to be in there. We'll send you the link in there, and you can find it and book it. So if you're listening to this a week from now, the offer still works. So go ahead and click it and book in. But Kai, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom. I learned a lot today. I love it. Like, us getting ahead of this curve is going to be so powerful. And then, yeah, in another few weeks, we're going to be able to figure out, hey, what ads are hitting for you on this, right? I'm going to be testing some stuff out for like on the other side of it. Obviously, we're not going to provide it here, the medicine, but we're going to start testing some ads out to support people who are on it. So
yeah,
Kai, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks. And thanks, like we talked about yesterday, you gave me a ton of ideas, and the group did. And so, yeah, I'm excited to move forward, and it's going to be good for everybody. So
awesome, man. Awesome. All right, guys, I will be here next Thursday, same time, 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST. I will cut the recording now, but if there are things you want to stay on and chat about, I'm going to be here for another 20, 30 minutes. So any issues, it doesn't even need to be related to this. If you're having issues with hiring, anything like that, leads, we can stay on, chat about it. So I'll cut the recording here. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next week.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you are ready to start making an extra $10,000 a month or more this month by making more money with less clients and create a consistent flow of high-quality leads, you can learn about what it's like to work with me and how ridiculously affordable it is at CoachScottCarpenter.com. And if you got any value out of this episode, please pay it forward and leave a review for this show. It helps other gym owners find the answers to the huge problems that we all share. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.